Hey, everybody. So Israel's not getting a lot of great press. Israel hasn't had good press for about 50 years, ever since it started winning wars. But it certainly has gotten a lot worse since October 7th, since the massacre and the reaction in the war with Hamas in Gaza. And it kind of came to a head in a certain sense, where Senator Schumer from New York, not only is he calling for Israel to get rid of Netanyahu, I guess Senator Schumer isn't familiar with the idea that Israel's a democracy, that they have elections, that they call their own elections. They don't call elections according to when he feels they should. But I guess that's a side point. Maybe someone needs to tell him that. But be that as it may, he referred to Israel and his fears that Israel will become a pariah nation, a despised nation of all the other nations of the world. Not that Syria, after killing 500,000 of its own people, and displacing millions of others, or Russia for attacking Ukraine and killing all those people, becoming pariah nations, North Korea, none of those places, Venezuela, Cuba. Israel, he's worried about Israel becoming a pariah nation amongst all the nations. Thomas Friedman from the New York Times has been saying this for generations, for decades he's been saying this. And the fact of the matter is that this idea of Israel being a pariah nation actually is not new. As a matter of fact, we can go all the way back to the Chumash, to the Torah, to the book of Genesis, and see how this was an issue. And that's why we have these stories in the Chumash. Ma'aseh Avot Siman Lebanim, the Talmud tells us that the actions of the forefathers, the foremothers, all those stories we read about, they're not just stories independent, but they're microcosms, they're definitions of what's going to happen to the Jewish people for all time and our relationship to the world as well. And so there's an incident in the Chumash, in Bereshit, where Jacob has 12 sons and he has a daughter, Dinah. And the daughter, Dinah, they're living in Shechem, and the daughter, Dinah, is abducted and raped. And she's kept there by the prince of the area. And so the father of the prince gets involved, and they don't let go of Dinah. She's abducted. She's still being held hostage. And he tries to turn it around and say, come on, let's turn this into a positive thing. You're a wonderful clan. We're a great place. Let's all work together, live together, marry one another, do business together. It's a win-win situation. The brothers are very, very indignant and angry at what happened to their sister, but they pretend to go along with this thing. And they said, fine, but one catch, one little thing. You got to circumcise yourselves. The males have to circumcise. Okay, so they convince them to do that, and they do it. And on the third day, when a lot of them, they're all in pain, they don't have anesthetics like we had and such. And so on the third day, Shimon and Levi, two of the brothers, go into that town, they go into that place, and they wipe out all the men. Kill them all. Wipe them all out. A very disproportionate reaction to the abduction and rape of their sister. And they take Dinah, they get her out of there. And this actually created a lot of consternation with Dad, with Father Jacob. And he says, the Torah narrates, Yaakov said to Shimon and Levi, who perpetrated this, Akartamotiv, you've sullied me. Lahavisheni, you've made me odious. B'yoshef ha'artz ha'kanani of amongst the people over here. V'ani metei mispar, I'm only a small number. And they can gather up, v'ikuni, they could strike us, v'ishmadati, they could wipe us out, ani ubeiti, me and my household. You've made us a pariah nation. You've turned, what do you think you're doing? We're a small clan over here. Everyone around us is going to come rise up and they're going to wipe us out. And what did the brothers respond? Hakazona ya'aseh achotenu? What, and they should treat our sister like a whore? Like a prostitute? We're not supposed to respond? And the Torah leaves it at that. And so you see, like this conflict of what we need to do to defend our people, to defend our honor, to defend ourselves, was an issue from get-go in terms of how far could we go and what's going to be the reaction of the surrounding nations. But here's the kicker right after that. God says to Yaakov, the very next paragraph, because on the one hand, the Torah seems to leave it as like a jump ball. We're not really sure what the resolution is. But right after that, God said to Yaakov, Kumale Beit El. You need to get out of here. You need to go to Beit El. You need to go back to that place of origin where you made a promise to me when you were leaving and fleeing from your brother Esav. And it says, V'yisu, that they traveled, the clan, the Jewish clan, the small clan, they traveled. V'yihi chitat Elohim al ha'arim. There was this godly fear of all the cities, asher svivoteim, around them as they traveled. V'lo radfu acharei b'nei Yaakov. They didn't run after Yaakov. They didn't chase him. They didn't give him a hard time. Interesting. You see, we're going to be a pariah nation no matter what. I put a link to a Dennis Prager article. Please read that. He very eloquently points that out. We're going to be a pariah nation. Whether in the Holocaust 75 years ago, we were a different, unique, despised nation. Nobody liked us. There are people either killing us or not letting us in. And we were a pariah nation then. And today we're a pariah nation. So we have a choice. How do we want to be a pariah nation? With defending ourselves or letting them kill us? You see, the bottom line is they're not going to like us no matter what we do. For whatever reason, read Ken Spiro, watch Ken Spiro's anti-Semitism presentation. But they're going to hate us. Jews are going to be a pariah nation no matter what we do. So we might as well defend our honor. We might as well defend ourselves. We might as well do what we need to do, despite the Schumers of the world, to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And the bottom line is, as the Torah pointed out, there was a respect and a fear after this incident. You know, not too long ago, I had to go to the Broward County Vehicle Registration Office. They lost my registration. I had to go get a new one. And I'm waiting in line there. And there was a woman, like they were taking some time finding my thing. It was returned to them, whatever. And then they said, stand off to the side. And then this woman came right after me, and they were very quick with her. And I said, wow, you're lucky. They dealt with you very quickly. And she says to me, you Jewish? You Jewish? Well, gave it away there. I said, yeah. She says she's from Brazil. She's happy what Israel's doing to Hamas, and that Israel should do the same thing to the leader of the Prime Minister of Brazil. I don't think they're going to, okay? He's been a very pro-Palestinian guy. But the bottom line is there's a lot of silent majority people. And no, they're not protesting as loudly, and they're not in the media, and they're not in Hollywood, and they're not in academia, but the average Joe in the street has a respect and fear of the Jewish people, and recognizes that what it's doing is necessary and good. So don't get freaked out by the Schumers and the people who are telling us we're going to be a pariah nation. We're going to be a pariah nation no matter what we do. So we might as well do the right thing and earn the respect of many people as we go along doing that, as happened when Bnei Yaakov traveled after wiping out Shem. Have a good Shabbat.